Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna go over Tesla. Tesla recently just announced their earnings. They had record revenue for the quarter. We're gonna go over those results, as well as I'm gonna give my thoughts on the company for 2023 and beyond. Appreciate you guys for being here. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like on it, as this does help out the channel. If you found it informative, like the video. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Let's get some conversations going down there. Let's have some positive conversation, guys. And we are a new channel. We're trying to grow. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and join us on our journey as we continue to grow. I appreciate you guys for being here. Now let's get into it. Tesla just reported their earnings, guys. They just reported it, and they did record revenue and beat on earnings. So they beat on the top and bottom line. They did $24.32 billion in revenue, which was a record quarter. They also had earnings of 1.9. So they beat on the top and bottom line when it comes to analyst expectation. Now, when we dive deeper, we can see what they're expected. They did very well. They beat on the top and bottom line. They had growth of 33%. So Tesla is still changing the game and showing that even in what could be a potential recession, they are still growing their business. They are still growing their earnings. They're still growing their revenue, having a record revenue. So Tesla is moving in the right direction. And I know a lot of people on Wall Street were surprised at this, because most people expected Tesla not to do so good because of how much Elon Musk has been focused on Twitter. They thought him being so involved in Twitter, when we dive a little bit deeper, we can see that the only big concern would be the gross margins, in my opinion. Gross margins did fall. Gross margin was around 26%, which is the lowest it's been on a little bit over a year now. So they did drop on gross margins, but something to keep in mind is Tesla did recently announce that they are doing price cuts on their vehicles. They recently came out and said that they have price cut on majority of their vehicles, on pretty much all of their vehicles. Now, that is something that I think personally is going to help grow the company and take it really to a different level. If a lot of you guys don't know, the EV market is only 5% of the total car market. So if every car sold in the United States, only 5% of that are EV cars. Now, Tesla is the largest EV car maker in the United States by a large margin, making up 85% of the luxury car and 65% of the total car. So Tesla is the driving force when it comes to electric vehicles. By them doing a price cut on their vehicles, they can make the EV cars more accessible to everybody. So that is something to keep in mind by them lowering the prices. Now, is that going to mess up their margins? Yes, of course. Gross margins are continually going to go down. So I almost guarantee that next quarter, gross margins may be around 20%, but revenue is going to continue to be up. And with a 20% gross margin, that is still leading the pack. They're still going to have some of the best gross margins in their field. So that is something to keep in mind. So Tesla, they beat on the top and bottom line. Now, when it comes to Tesla, there's something else that I really want you guys to look at. When it comes to Tesla, a lot of people look at the evaluation in different ways. Is it overvalued or is it undervalued? Based on really one big question, or really two big questions. Is it only an automotive company or is it a tech company? In my opinion, it's both. It's an automotive company and a tech company. And the reason why this concerns people is because it's valued as a tech company, but most of its revenue, or primarily its core revenue, comes from the automotive field. Now, when we look at this chart, we can kind of see how over time Tesla has been diversifying and growing their other revenue just as well as they've been growing their automotive revenue. When we look at it, we can see that about 80% of its revenue comes from automotive. So it is a company that is driven by automotive, pun intended. It is driven by cars, but you can see also that it's other industries. And what I mean by other industries, I mean its energy sector and its services sector is growing as well. And it is starting to separate from its automotive industry, from its automotive revenue. Tesla did $24 billion in revenue this quarter. So $24 billion. Only $21 billion of that came from automotives, came from the car, came from EVs. Only 21 billion of that came from electric vehicles. The other 3 billion came from other segments in their business. So you got $3 billion that came from other segments, which is around 15% of their business that came from other segments. So that is something to think about. Now, is it still primarily a car company? Yes. When 80% plus of your business comes from one particular source, you are primarily a car company, but it continues to grow those other segments to help it diversify itself, that not just be a car company. And I think as time goes on, it will continue to do that. It will continue to grow those other segments of its business and separate itself from not being just an automotive company. It's going to be an automotive company primarily. Yes, I think it will always be that. But I think as time goes on, it's really going to separate itself and get into other segments, get into other services, continue to grow their energy business, right? So we're going to see Tesla grow in big ways going into the future. So that is something to keep in mind. But Tesla had a fantastic quarter, guys. Record revenue, beats on earnings, beat on the top and bottom line. Wall Street was very concerned for the company. No concern is needed. Tesla is continuously growing their business, guys. So I believe Tesla is going to do even better going into the future. I do believe they're going to continue having record revenue, especially with them lowering the price. Now, the gross margins will go down. The gross margins will go down. I do believe that they're not going to have as high as gross margin as they have had. But even if they hover around a 20% gross margin, that is still an industry leading margin. That is still industry leading. So something to keep in mind, guys. Tesla is continuing to grow. It's continuing to get bigger. And you can see from the stock price that most people agree with this. Most people liked what Tesla was doing. Tesla blew up after their earnings. When they announced it, they were up 9+% for the day. So a lot of people like these earnings. A lot of people believe in this company, guys. So I'm a big Tesla believer. I do believe they're the future when it comes to electric vehicles and kind of changing the world. And I do believe that they have much more to grow. So I do believe you can get much more growth in there. So if you liked the video, guys, go ahead and leave a like, as it does help out the channel, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, or maybe want to talk against it, let's have a positive conversation down there in the comment section below, guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, as this does help out the channel dramatically and it helps us grow, guys. We're on our way to hopefully get 100 subscribers someday soon and get 1,000 subscribers. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you as always. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.